Darren Howard, or is it Dawn? Ms. Howard,
Madam Chair,
yes.
after Megan, actually, can we bring up Don Riley Duvall?
Sure. We'll have that sign it. Welcome, Ms. Stoller. Please introduce yourself and who you represent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Megan Dollar. I'm the Legislative and Policy Advocate here on behalf of the Colorado Municipal League, and we are in opposition to HB 1191. So thank you very much for the opportunity for us to testify today. I want to just kind of go over, there's been a lot of discussion today, which I think is a good discussion on the lack of resources. And I want to continue that discussion, and I want to change this discussion into that discussion. Municipalities and CML as an organization, and I'm here representing all municipalities here in Colorado, not just in the metro area. We're not here to demonize any group of people, and I think if you look at the Denver Post article, this assumption that we're trying to sweep homelessness off the just out of the radar is very misleading. We actually take the issue of homelessness extremely seriously in our communities, and one of our biggest concerns with this bill is that there's nothing in this bill that will end the cycle of homelessness, and that's what we want to do. There's been a lot of discussion about the DU study, and I've certainly read that study, and I'll go in with I'll go to one of the several concerns that we actually have in the study. But one thing I want to mention is there are sections in the study that what we would like to see going forward is looking at a partnership with the state on how can we leverage funds to move forward. I would venture to say municipalities spend much more than the state does right now on trying to end homelessness, and much more than the $5 million referenced on enforcement in the DU study as well. And so that's where we come from on that as well. And I don't see anything in the bill that prevents anyone from bringing suits against a municipality on this one. I think when you develop a state set of rights, that's inherently a possibility. So I don't entirely agree with that assessment. And the third thing I want to bring up is, I think that there's an assumption that municipalities sort of arbitrarily decide to adopt ordinances and don't put much thought into them. And the fact of the matter is, we have to think a lot about all of the citizens in our community. And one of the concerns with this bill is that this does not address all of the citizens. We are very interested in caring for our most vulnerable, and we also need to look at vibrant business environments, and of course public safety as well. So I wanted to bring that up. Finally, with regard to the DU study, I think that there are some things that were certainly
Scholar, your time's up.
Oh, okay.
Members, Representative Singer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've got a question. Thank you for playing by the same rules as everybody else here. Can you give me some examples of cities that have passed ordinances that would be either overturned by this or at least put into question that have alleviated a problem? You mentioned, and I sat as a planning and zoning commissioner for the city of Longmont. I work with city council fairly frequently, and I do know they put a lot of thought into these things. This usually take weeks and months to put together. So are there one or two examples of ordinances that cities have passed that would be put into question by this that has alleviated a problem, whether it was the problem of homelessness, whether it was the problem of people obstructing businesses and now the businesses are no longer obstructed? If you can give one or two, that would be helpful.
Ms. Stoller?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Representative Singer. I'm going to speak a little generally, only because I'm not entirely sure. But this bill would certainly affect loitering ordinances, trespassing ordinances, park curfews as well. That I think would certainly, which I think are common ordinances among municipalities. Devil's in the details, of course, on how specifically that would work, and I'm happy to work forward and get more specific examples. But I think those types of scenarios where those are fairly broad ordinances and do apply to everyone in the community, those could certainly be effective.